Series haul video. We have 8 figures to check out here today. But before I get started, I just wanted to say real quick that I wanted to get back to the haul format for Black Series videos on the channel. I think for the past few months, I've been doing kind of like individual Black Series figures per video, and doing like a 15-minute review of like just one figure. And at the end of the day, I don't think that's really what I want to do on the channel long term. I think my older videos, when I did like collection showcases and then like hauls like this one, I personally think were better and more interesting than, you know, doing just one figure, like a 15-minute video on one figure. So I think I'm gonna get back to that. But as always, please do let me know what you guys think. Do you like the one figure videos, or do you like the big hauls? I'll continue to do reviews of Hot Toys figures because I think that makes sense to do like a big review video on, because they're premium figures. But I think for Black Series, I think I'll just stick to hauls, and we'll obviously unbox and look at all the figures. I'm definitely excited for, getting back to hauls, so let me know what you guys think. I apologize for that long intro. Let's go ahead and get started. So like I said, we have 8 figures. We have prototype Boba Fett, and I'll talk about each of them a little bit more in detail, but I just want to show them all first. Q90. And then we have the Clone Wars Mandalorian Supercommando and the Mandalorian Loyalist, the Archive 501st Trooper, Return of the Jedi, Lando, and finally we have Dengar and Forlom from Empire Strikes Back. So let's go ahead and get started here. So I'll start by, I guess, checking out the box of each character, and then we'll unbox in time-lapse mode, and then look at the figures. So I'll just do like 20 seconds each on the box. So here's the first one. This is actually the only figure of this haul that I'm going to leave in the box. I got this recently, and they just announced that they're going to repackage this in the new line. But luckily I didn't pay too much for it, so I wasn't that bummed. And I still think that having it in its original packaging from like back in the day, or I mean not that long ago, like 6 years ago or something, like the original Black Series packaging, I think that's nice. And I'm putting together a Boba Fett shelf, and I'm gonna keep this in the package and put it on it. And I think, I don't know, it seems kind of cool to have like a sort of prototype Boba Fett still in the package. This was like the original armor, like prototype before Empire Strikes Back. He was gonna be all white and sort of like an upgraded stormtrooper, I think. But eventually they painted him, green, or his armor plates green, and gave him the like beige flight suit. So pretty cool piece of sort of Star Wars history. Then here is Q90. I actually saw this guy. I picked him up in the store along with Lando. One of the very few characters I've seen on store shelves. And he is of course, Mandalorian character. He's in the episode, I think it's episode 6, when the Mandalorian Dengar teams up with those other hunters, like Mayfield, and I don't remember the others, but one of them is this guy and they betray him. So, maybe it says more on the back. A bug-eyed protocol droid with modified programming, Q90 or 0 to his colleagues, operates with precision timing. So, that's incredibly vague and not useful. Next up, we of course have the Clone War, 2 of the Clone Wars wave figures from, when was that? Was that like over a year ago now? I'm trying to remember when I got Ahsoka, I think so. Was that 2020? Man, time flies. But anyways, I never actually managed to get these somehow. I have actually 2 Ahsokas, and a 332nd Trooper, but I just never got these, so I thought I should probably get them sooner rather than later, before the price increases too much. And they definitely look like awesome figures, I just never found them for a good price. So, these are of course from Clone Wars Season 7. So did the Mandalorians that sided with Maul, and then the Mandalorians that sided with, Bo-Katan and Ahsoka in the Republic. So these seem like great figures, and I'm really excited to finally have them. I don't know why it took me so long. But anyways, here's the Archive 501st Trooper. I have 3 more of these on pre-order, so hopefully they actually get delivered and not canceled, so we'll see about that. But this is of course an older figure that's been repackaged because everyone loves the 501st. It's interesting. I really wonder, like, who at Hasbro makes these descriptions. The 501st Legion Clone Trooper. An elite legion of clone troopers, the 501st Legion patrolled the grounds after their siege of the Jedi Temple in Coruscant. Like, yeah, they did do that, but, they did a lot of other stuff too, other than just siege the Jedi Temple with Anakin. They were a really big part of the Clone Wars, so kind of a weird description, but what can you do? Next up we have General Lando Calrissian from Return of the Jedi. I also saw him in the store, like I said, with Q90, and decided to pick him up. Pretty much any figure I see in the wild that I don't already have, I pick up just because they're so few and far between. least where I live, so we got Lando. And then lastly, we got Dengar and Forlom. I'm very excited about these two because, like I said, I'm putting together kind of a Boba Fett shelf, and I want to have the Empire Strikes Back bounty hunter lineup. I have Zuckuss and Boba, and now I got Forlom and Dengar, and then all I need after this is Bosk, who I think is really expensive, and then I believe it's IG-88. I can never remember if it's 8 or 11. I think it's 88, but I feel like I said that in another video and then I got it wrong. So these two are both, of course, like I said, bounty hunters from the Empire Strikes Back lineup. And they also appear in some comics, War of the Bounty Hunters. That takes place between ESP and Return of the Jedi. So, definitely exciting. But, anyways, I will go ahead and get all of 7 of these figures out of the box, because like I said, keeping this guy in the box, and I'll put on the time lapse and be back in a second when they're all out. Okay guys, we're back, and as you can see, I have all of the figures out of their boxes, with of course the exception of Prototype Boba. So let's just go figure by figure and check them all out. So let's start with Dengar. There's the face sculpt. A lot of really good detail in there, actually. And some cuts and wounds and gashes. It looks really good. The head wrapping also looks really good. And really love the way the armor looks. It's almost like cobbled together. In a way. It's just like, heaps of metal either on his body. And he has like the undersuit, which looks really cool. I don't really know what it is about Dengar, but fascinated by the way he looks, and he has this backpack that's sculpted and painted really well. And I think the whole figure just looks fantastic. He comes with 2 weapons, 2 blasters, a rifle, and a pistol. No weathering or special paints, so nothing outstanding there, blaster-wise, but the figure itself definitely looks awesome. There's some weathering. The head sculpt looks great. I love the detail on the backpack, and overall, he looks awesome. So, seems like a great figure. Articulation seems to be pretty good. I don't have any issues with it, so seems like a good figure. Definitely really happy to have Dengar. He's like one of those characters that just kind of looks cool. And oh, I did forget, he's in the Clone Wars as well. And I think a few other things. Oh, he's like wearing like slippers almost. He's in the Clone Wars comic books, a few other things, so he does have more screen time and, book time than that several seconds in Empire Strikes Back, but that's what I always remember him from. And he does have a leg holster for his blaster, so very happy with Dengar. And Forlom as well, actually. Seems like another great figure. I honestly just bought this almost as a throwaway, just to complete the bounty hunter lineup. But I am pleasantly surprised with how nice this figure looks. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but the eyes have like a slate green tint to them. The head, or I don't think it's a head sculpt, but the head looks good. I really like the armor. It has like a rust weathering to it. I hope the camera picks that up okay, because at least in person it looks really good. So I bought this figure expecting to just, have it to throw on the shelf to complete the bounty hunter lineup, but I am very pleasantly surprised. Articulation in the arms is quite limited because of, sort of the protocol droid look, but that's also accurate to protocol droid, so not really a knock on the figure. Lots of torso swivel, and then a good amount of leg articulation, so definitely limited on the arms, but I think that's by design. And then he comes with a blaster. Kinda similar to Dengar's, actually. I don't know if this is movie accurate, but it is identical to Dengar's, except for the color. I do think the color's a bit better. Man, it keeps focusing on figures back there. Maybe I have to move them to the side or something. Maybe it'll focus now. Dengar's is kind of like a meh looking kind of brownie plastic, where this is more like a gunmetal. So I'm not sure if that's accurate. I'll have to check, but they have the same blaster. Q9, another droid. Also another figure that I bought just because I saw it on the shelf, and again, I'm honestly quite happy with it. I do think that Forlom looks a little better with all the rust weathering, but they did also do some rust weathering on this, and it looks decent. I like the wires a lot. Can you get a grip, camera? Sorry if it keeps focusing this thing looks decent. It looks pretty cool. So definitely not like one of my favorite characters by any means, but still a decent figure. An articulation better than I expected on the shoulder. And despite the wires, still pretty good on the arm. Tons of torso movement. Tons of thigh and knee as well. So articulation is definitely good. So another figure that I'm honestly kind of surprised about. And then he comes with a blaster that looks quite a bit like Boba's rifle. Sorry about that. It looks quite a bit like Boba's rifle. It's not exactly the same. I think it's a little bit shorter. And the scope is a bit different, but it's definitely similar. And definitely, like, you can tell the quality difference between, like, Dengar's blaster and this one. Okay, moving on to Mandalorian Supercommando. Really love the helmet with sort of the mole horns and the paint job. They are a little flimsy, I will say, but they don't seem to want to break, which is good. So maybe it's good that they're flimsy, because if they weren't, if you hit them, then they break. So maybe it's actually good that they're flimsy. But just a note about that, it looks good, and I love the paint job and the paint applications. Some weathering, some sculpted in. Actually, I don't think. No, I don't think there are sculpted in scratches. I think it's all just paint, but still it looks good. Gauntlets look good. I like those. There's a jetpack, which does come off, but just leave it on, of course. And then he has these two nice holsters for his blaster pistols, which fit in there very snugly. So another great figure. Articulation wise, tons of head movement. Arms, a little bit limited, but still pretty good. Some torso movement, and oh, it's very tight. And a decent amount of like articulation, so pretty good articulation, and he looks great. And then the pistol, I think I have a few of these from like Bo-Katan and Cosca Reeves, so meh, they're fine. Not the greatest thing in the world, but they're Mandalorian pistols, alright. Here is the Loyalist. As you can tell, these are basically the same figure. The sculpt is almost identical, with the exception of the Loyalist doesn't have the horns on the top or the spikes on the shoulder. Otherwise, the sculpts are identical, and they both have the jetpack. But of course, what differs is the paint job, and I think they both look really cool, and they're very contrasting. Sort of like the red and blue type deal, so definitely excited to finally have these guys. I really wish they were more available. I'd love to get a few of them and have, like, you know, a little diorama setup of Siege of Mandalore, but unfortunately, they are not very available. Anyways, Articulation is probably identical. Oh, I made like kind of a cool pose there for a second. I don't know why. He was like inspecting his gauntlet. It looked kind of cool. Yeah, so Articulation is, as you'd expect, exactly the same for these two. And then blasters, same idea as the figure. Same sculpt, different color, and same sort of opinion on this guy. It's fine. And of course, you get two of those. Okay, then, very exciting. We have a 501st Trooper. Like I said, I really hope that they get the distribution right on these guys, because I have 3 more ordered on pre-order, and I'd love to have like a couple of these guys for dioramas and army building and whatnot. So hopefully that works out. Figure wise, it's decent. Of course, cool factor. I love 501st Troopers. It is slightly dated. I think they used the old Clone Trooper body. But that being said, it keeps going out of focus. Sorry, guys. But that being said, aesthetics wise, it looks good. It looks like, for some reason to me, it like looks too small, but putting him next to the Mandalorian, I guess it's not. But at any rate, maybe it's because it feels so light. I think that's it. This guy has a ton of weight to him, and this is like paper. So for whatever reason, it's really light compared to the Mandalorians. I think that's what was throwing me off, but the sculpt looks pretty good. Paint applications are good. There's a lot of nice weathering around it, so I think it's a good figure. And I'm very excited to finally get some affordable 501st clones. Articulation. It's a little rough on the shoulder. That's about as far as you can go. Elbow's good. Thigh is good. Knee is good. And then torso pivot's good. Very stiff head, but it moves. So the shoulder is definitely limited, but otherwise it seems pretty okay. And it looks good, so very excited to have a 501st clone. And then finally, we have Return of the Jedi Lando Calrissian. There's that sculpt. Pretty good likeness to Lando. I really wish they got away from these shiny paints. I really don't like the shiny faces. But the sculpt itself looks good. And then they have this pretty nice soft goods cape. I don't really like this rubber bit. It looks kind of bulky and weird at the front, but the cape is pretty good. And then his outfit looks decent. So there's Lando, he looks pretty good, articulation wise. As you'd expect. For a character with no armor, he has a ton of articulation, so that's good. And then he has a little tiny blaster pistol, which looks an awful lot like a real gun. But very cool. It fits in his holster blaster rifle. Definitely leaves something to be desired, but it just looks so good. I love the backpack, love the armor plates, the head sculpt, and the scars look fantastic. He looks awesome, and overall, it's just a fantastic figure, so I think Dengar is probably my favorite of this wave, with the Mandalorians and the clone right behind. And actually, I don't even want to try to pick a second, because I think second place would be a tie between the two Mandalorians, Forlom and the clone, so let's just call Dengar the winner and call it a day. Anyways, guys, let me know what you thought of the haul format, and if you prefer this to a single figure unboxing. I think I definitely prefer it, but I'm interested in what you guys have to say, so let me know down below. But yeah, anyways, as always, I hope you guys have enjoyed. Thanks for watching.